Bulking part two, and things we're going to talk about is what calories to start on, and I'm going to throw in the protein in there. We've got foods to eat and things to consider for nutrition. So I think going into the bulk, you've got to take it seriously. We've got to be looking at the facts, the figures, and the numbers that are associated with it, because a lot of people say, I eat a lot and I can't put on weight. The science behind it is if you are still in a deficit, if you're at maintenance calories, that is why you won't be putting on muscle. It all depends on your expenditure, what you would generally burn in a day anyway, and so on. So, what calories to start on? So, let's just start with this then. So, I would always work on your maintenance calories first and then simply add 250 to 350 calories extra on top of your maintenance calories. And this is going to give you and put you into a small calorie surplus. That means that we're looking to add muscle and a bit of mass at a small rate. And from there, that's how you gradually build on. So when it comes to your calculator, you type in BMR calculator on Google, type in your age, height, and weight, and then it's going to come up with your BMR. So that's your basal metabolic rate, what your body will burn in 24 hours, roughly, if you were to sit in a chair all day to function. Your organs like your lungs, your liver, your heart, it has to pump, it has to work and regulate. So it's going to be using calories. And then the second bit is to decide, right, how many times a week are you going to be exercising? So let's just say, for example, it's the 1 to 3 times per week. So we've got a figure of 2,266, let's say, for example. This is off my height and age and weight. So the starting calorie, let's just add 350, for instance, um, or roughly 200. I can't remember what it was, but let's just say 350. So it comes up with a figure of 2,616 calories. So for the first week that you're starting, just get your maintenance or just a slight surplus to see how your body responds and digests the food. And when it comes to protein, very simple. I always times your body weight in kilos. So if I'm 74 kilos and then times that by 2.2, let me just do the maths. I think it's 177 point something. 2.2 times 74, 162. Wow, maths is quite bad there. So 162 grams. But generally, I am going to aim for a little bit more. So 180 grams minimum. Sometimes I do get 220, 240, 260, the way that I put my meals together. So then let's just stick with those numbers for week 1, week 2, and when it gets to week 3, my digestion's good, I feel good, I'm not bloated, I'm ready to add on an extra couple of calories. So we plus it by 100. Let's see how our body responds with 2,716. But generally, if we want a really good start, if you're very knowledgeable in terms of nutrition and training and everything's ticking the boxes, you can be in a 500 calorie surplus. So, for example, we would be, let's say, 2266. Let me just get that ready. 2,266 plus 500 calories. So we'd be looking at, eating 2,766 calories. That generally you are going to put on weight. But if you're not, still, we have to up the calories and find that perfect mix. So, foods to eat, the exact, if not similar foods you were eating in a cut. So if you were in a cut phase, I would say, right, continue eating the same food, but add a little bit more carbs, add a little bit more protein and veg. It's all about volume. You want to be eating a lot more to obviously grow. So this next one is like an example meal plan that I do eat because I'm a very plain, boring kind of guy when it comes to food. I keep it the same and I rinse and repeat it. So here I've got a 2,626 calorie meal plan, and it's a 262 grams of protein in a day. So I do it quite high, but you can see the calories are still quite low. So breakfast would be overnight oats with perform whey and blueberries. So you've got 60 grams of blueberries, 300 milliliters of semi-skimmed milk, 1 scoop, which is 30 grams of Perform Whey, and then porridge rolled oats, Quaker oats, because they're soft and they digest really well for me. So you can see here, it is where is it now? Roughly, it's a 690 gram meal with, I think it was around about 47 grams of protein. But because I've got the Perform shake in there as well, I would probably have that about an hour or two later, but I class it as breakfast. So you've got 400 millilitres of semi-skimmed milk and 2 scoops of Perform Whey. So that's that. That's my breakfast done and dusted. So for lunch, I'd have beef mince, 5%, tender stem broccoli, and basmati rice. Same again, you can see the grams here. So 100 grams of tender stem broccoli. Basmati rice, I'd go for 130 grams. And then lean beef mince, 220 grams. So that's a 448 calorie meal, and I get 51 grams of protein in there. So you get the gist. I've got diced chicken breast, tender stem broccoli, and then I've got basmati rice. Same again, foods that digest well with me, and I just keep it simple. You're probably wondering, do you add seasoning, sauces, condiments? Yes, I do, but not that much, because I don't really want to go over in terms of calories with condiments and seasonings, but I would 100% add that in, because it's going to make your meal plan that little bit tastier. And then for supper, I'll have a Perform shake and go to bed. So I space these meals out quite well. So breakfast would be maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock after training. I train fasted, by the way. And then here would be 10, 11 o'clock. And then here would be 12, 1 or 2 o'clock. And then I'd probably save that for around about 5 or 6, and then just before I go to bed. So remember, the meal timings is really important, because it's all about digestion, and we want to make sure that, we're getting the best digestion possible to make sure that our body's absorbing the proteins, the carbs, macronutrients and micronutrients. So in terms of foods to eat, it's like bagels, porridge, pasta, basmati rice, chicken, steak. The off-plan meals can be burgers, eggs, any veg and salads that can go with that. So just make sure that you're taking things slow, you're reading your body, you're adjusting if it's needed. But apart from that, it's very simple moving forward. Anything or any question that you have, let me know. I can, send over a voice note for you, example meal plan, and just help you on your journey, because I think the nutrition side of things is really, really key. So things to consider for nutrition. So select foods that digest well for you. Eat shite food and you'll feel shite. That is just the simple thing about high dirty, high calorie, fatty meals, is you're going to feel shite after it. We don't want to be adding unnecessary body fat. So add a shitload of body fat and your range of motion will be poor. So when it comes to food, eat foods that digest well, but eat foods that are clean and good for your digestion. So week by week, slowly increase calories, but at a very slow rate. So you want to manage things in a timely manner, so you can see how your body responds on certain calories with certain foods. So, it's not about being in 1,000-calorie surplus and eating as much as you can, because you're just going to add unnecessary body fat. So when it comes to that, week by week, make small adjustments and then go from there. So every 6 weeks, have a week where you reduce your calories to keep your body responsive. So you imagine you're eating the same calories for 6 weeks, same workouts, same steps. Your body is eventually going to plateau, and you really want to make sure that you're in a very responsive state, so that you can absorb the macronutrients and the micronutrients and make sure that your body is always adapting. When it comes to meal prep and just generally prepping your meals, making sure that you've got them ready, be locked in with it. Don't take it half-assed. There's nothing worse than trying to wing meals. So this needs to be done so you are stress-free and eating in certain windows. So like I said, eating windows are very important for digestion and performance, to make sure that you've got the energy for your workouts, but don't be half-assed about it. Don't make a couple of meals and then just sack it off. You're not going to grow if you are inconsistent. If you're inconsistent with your training and your meal planning, and you're in a surplus, or you want to be in a bulking stage, you are not going to grow if you're inconsistent. So that's one thing that I will say. You need to be totally on it. So when it comes to treats and off-plan meals, yes, we've got the leniency to have that, but don't go AWOL. Don't be having off-plan meals every 2 days, every 3 days. Be really consistent. It is very important that the bulk stages is run as cleanly as possible, because you want to make sure that you're adding clean, lean mass, not some dirty ass meals every week, and that makes sure that we're adding as much body fat as possible, so your range of motion is going to be shit. And then last but not least, things to consider about the process. So it's a very slow and long process, and there isn't necessarily many changes that take place once we have all the components and the wheels are in motion. It's just a case of cracking on and remaining consistent and maintaining food and training intensity. So this bit here, it's slow, it's not as glamorous as the cut, and it's just about making sure that you are training as hard as possible, you're eating consistently, and you're making sure that you are giving your everything into this, because eventually, if you do want to do a cut phase and get rid of the body fat, it should be a really impressive cut. But if you're not taking it seriously, then obviously the results will not show. So the last one, it's less glamorous and doesn't happen as quickly as a fat loss phase does. So yes, we see pretty much instant results when it comes to a cut, and you start to see your fibers, your muscle come to the surface, your veins are present, and you feel really good when you look in the mirror. Now, obviously, when it comes to a bulk, it's not as glamorous as what you think. You will be adding a little bit of body fat. That's something that we can't ignore. But if you're in it for the long haul, it's well worth when you do that cut again and you're revealing the hard work that you've put in. So just remember that it's not glamorous and it doesn't happen as quickly as a fat loss phase. So once again, hope you've enjoyed the slide and the webinar. If you have questions, drop me a message and I'll 100% help you out.